A bunch of people are drowning in the water at the start of the story, and some soldiers come to save them. One of these troops is identified as Sem. He lets go and plunges into the water because the rope is too short. He has an accident when his head strikes a board while this is where the scene ends. Sem is shown bathing in a lake a few days prior. He becomes refreshed and resumes his journey. While on vacation, he sits by himself and reflects on the night he spent at a bar with his pals. He first noticed Alara, a stunning female there. He approached her and struck up a conversation since he couldn't stop talking to her. Sem finally requested her phone number. Alara didn't pick up when he called her, even though he had the number. He went to the museum where she worked because he wanted to speak with her. "You only called once, and then after 2 weeks, you called me at 2 a.m., Alara said in response to his question about why she didn't answer. After the initial meeting, "Who calls at that time? I am aware of your desires." Sem gave an explanation for his late call, saying that he had been preoccupied with vital tasks. Sem wanted to take Alara out to supper that evening. Alara gave him her diary when he requested for paper. He didn't question her about the heart that was painted on a spot on the diary's map. Rather, he handed it to her after tearing out a page and writing down an address. Sem still carried that diary with him today. As we travel back in time, we witness Alara getting to the address Sem had provided her. She wanted to see if Sem would wait for her, so she was a little late. They exchanged information about their families and spoke extensively that evening. According to Alara, her father passed away due to extreme work-related stress, and her mother passed away when she was a small girl. Sem also revealed that when he was a child, his parents left him. They had both been raised without parents. Sem later inquired about the heart on the map after removing Alara's diary. Alara was reluctant to inform him at first, but she felt compelled to do so when he refused to return the diary. Blue Cave, she explained, was the name of the place, and she hoped to go there someday with her husband. Sem is still on the road today. Very few people get to see this view. A woman named Pinar tells him one morning as she stands atop a hill. "You're fortunate." "I lost someone and I am on a journey to find them," Sem responds. "I might run across them there." After saying, "Those who leave never return," Pinar turns to depart. A flashback shows Cem and Alara at a party with their pals. Although they had been dating for a while, they had not yet tied the knot. By this point, Alara was aware that Cem was a military and frequently went on missions. She wanted him to stay with her when they were married. Thus, she didn't like this. Alara was afraid for his life because being a soldier was dangerous. After their wedding, she wanted Cem to resign. After returning from a trip one day, Cem took Alara to a stunning location and asked her to marry him. "How can I be with you when you always leave me?" Alara retorted. Cem said, "Just a few more missions, and then I will never leave you again." As he continues his trek, Cem is back in the present and thinking deeply. Feeling lonely at night, he chooses to keep a stray puppy he finds. As he proceeds, he speaks to the puppy. While looking at the map the following morning, Cem gets lost. A girl called Zeynep spots him as a group of visitors pass by. She asks him where he's going and begins to flirt with him. "I am heading to Blue Cave, but I lost my way," Cem responds. "We're heading in that direction," Zeynep informs him. "If you would like, you can join us." He accepted because Cem needed assistance. Zeynep wants to swim when she sees the beach on the way. Cem enthusiastically accepts her invitation. He abruptly backs off when Zeynep approaches him. Cem recalls the time when Alara became irate with him. The wife of his co-worker had previously sent Alara a note that said, "Pardon me for what transpired between Cem and myself. It was an error." Because of this, Alara believed Cem had cheated on her. But Cem clarified, "I didn't even touch her. I was only present at my colleague's funeral for her." Going back to the present, Cem and the travel group are seated on the shore. Zeynep approaches him and pours him a drink. "Why are you going to Blue Cave?" she says. "I am searching for someone," Cem responds. "You won't find anyone there," Zeynep cautions. Something about Cem's drink caused him to feel lightheaded all of a sudden. The girls take advantage of him after he passes out. Cem wakes up by himself the following morning. After the gang departs, he and his puppy continue their quest. In the past, even though Cem and Alara were married 5 years ago, Alara is still angry with him for going on missions. She becomes irate when Cem mentions another expedition. "This is my last mission," Cem promises her. "Although it is crucial, I promise never to abandon you again after this." She is pleased when he then presents her his resignation documents. When Chem returns to the present, he discovers a wounded man named Harun in a valley. He is really thirsty and has been punctured with a wooden rod. After checking his wounds and giving him water, Chem discovers that many of his bones are shattered. Chem rushes to ask for assistance, but he quickly realizes nobody's there. He comes back and takes a seat next to Harun. According to Harun, I used to mistreat my wife and son. God is punishing me with this. Chem recalls the time he and Alara went to the doctor while Harun talks about his son. In addition to being pregnant, Alara was reported to have cancer and to be nearing the end of her life. Chem abandons Harun after his death. Later on, he pursues a youngster he observes walking by himself. Chem unintentionally tumbles into the ocean while pursuing the youngster. Then he finds a cave and goes inside. He enters and discovers that he has arrived at Blue Cave, the location Alara had requested. Abruptly, the youngster reappears, opens a door, and enters. Following him, Chem is startled to see that he is in his own house. In front of him sits his Melek. Chem wonders, "What is happening to me?" With confusion, the Melek clarifies, "Do you recall the time you dove into the ocean to save lives? We attempted to save you after your accident, but you did not make it out alive. You've passed away. You were thinking about everything you observed." At that point, Chem discovers that Harun was his father and Pinar was his mother. He didn't identify them because he had never met them. In reality, Zeynep was the wife of his co-worker, the same woman who had kissed him and started the argument with Alara. That's when Chem thinks of Alara. He is informed by the Melek that Alara had cancer, but she still has time left. At that moment, their home phone rings. Chem is happy to see Alara when she picks it up, but he knows he will never be able to spend time with her again. When Alara finds out that Chem has passed away, she is crushed. Chem didn't make it through his last expedition. In the meantime, the child from Chem's recollections appears to be his 5-year-old son. He had spent 5 years abroad on a mission, so Chem was unaware of him. In the final scene, Alara realizes her desire by taking her son to Blue Cave. The story then comes to a conclusion.